Hey everyone, I hope you are doing well. I'm Oliver Kovács, a Hungarian composer. Chords and chord notations can be very confusing, especially if you are a beginner. There are many types of chords and I'll try to cover all of them in this video. Let's get started. A chord consists of at least 3 notes played together. The most basic chords are the triads, which comprise exactly 3 notes. There are 6 types of triads. In the case of triads, the lowest note is the root, the middle is the third, and the highest is the fifth. In the case of major triads, the third is a major third above the root note and the fifth is a perfect fifth relative to the root. It's notated with the root note's name in uppercase, so if you see the letter E and you know it's a chord, it's just a regular E major triad. Of course, we can also use the word E major. The uppercase letter is an abbreviation. A minor triad consists of a root note, a minor third, and a perfect fifth. They are notated with the root note's name, followed by a lowercase m, or the word min. Diminished triads are made up of a root, a minor third, and a diminished fifth. Remember, a diminished fifth is enharmonically equivalent to a tritone. If you want to abbreviate a diminished chord, you should use a circle in superscript with the root note's name. There is another abbreviation with the root note's name and the word dim. Of course, you can always use the full-length name. An augmented triad consists of a root note, a major third, and an augmented fifth. Remember, an augmented fifth is enharmonically equivalent to a minor sixth. The abbreviation of an augmented chord consists of the root note's name and the word aug or a plus sign. A suspended second chord consists of a root, a major second, and a perfect fifth. The abbreviation for a suspended second chord is the root note's name followed by the word sus2. A suspended fourth consists of a root note, a perfect fourth, and a perfect fifth. Its abbreviation is the root note's name followed by the word sus4. Finding the inversions of a chord is relatively straightforward. The root position is the chord's natural form. In the first inversion, the third becomes the lowest note. To achieve this, move the root up an octave. For the second inversion, move the third up an octave, making the fifth the lowest note. Remember, the number of inversions for a chord is always one less than the number of its notes, so seventh chords have 3 inversions. Seventh chords are chords that consist of 4 notes. They are called seventh chords because the fourth note is a seventh above the root. The other group of 4-note chords are the sixth chords. The major seventh chord is a regular major triad with an added major seventh interval above the root. Its name comes from the major seventh interval and because it's built on a major triad. Its abbreviation is the root note's name followed by the characters M-A-J and the 7. There is another notation, the root note's name, a triangle, and a 7. It also could be a capitalized M instead of the characters M-A-J. The minor seventh chord, as the name suggests, is a regular minor triad with an added minor seventh interval above the root. Its notation can use the word min and the 7 or the lowercase m with a 7. The dominant seventh chord is a major triad with a minor seventh interval added above the root. Its abbreviation is a 7 after the root note's name or the word dom and then a 7. The diminished seventh chord consists of a diminished triad with a diminished seventh interval above the root. It's essentially 3 stacked minor thirds on the root. The diminished seventh notation could be the word dim and the 7 or a circle in superscript followed by a 7. The half diminished seventh chord is a diminished triad with a minor seventh interval above the root. The chord's abbreviation could be the root note's name followed by an M7 flat 5 or a crossed out circle in superscript followed by a 7 or min 7 flat 5. The diminished major seventh chord is a diminished triad with a major seventh interval above the root. You can see the abbreviations for this chord above. The minor major seventh chord is a minor triad with a major seventh interval above the root. The minor refers to the triad and the major seventh refers to the interval. This chord can be written as the root note's name followed by the characters MIN, MAJ7 or lowercase m, capitalized M and 7. The augmented seventh chord is an augmented triad with a minor seventh interval above the root. This chord's abbreviation could be the root note's name followed by aug7 or plus 7. The augmented major seventh chord is an augmented triad with a major seventh interval above the root. This chord's abbreviation could be the root note's name followed by aug-maj7 or plus maj7 or plus capitalized M7. Sixth chords consist of a triad and a sixth interval above the root note. The notation for the sixth chord simply add the number 6 after the root note. Here are the most common sixth chords. The major sixth is a major triad with an added major sixth interval. It's notated with the root note's name followed by a 6. The minor sixth is a minor triad with an added major sixth interval. It's notated with the root note's name followed by M6 or min 6. A ninth chord is created by adding a ninth interval to a seventh chord. This interval consists of an octave plus a second. A major ninth chord is simply a major seventh chord with an added major ninth interval above the root, while a minor ninth chord follows the same logic but with a minor seventh as its foundation. A ninth chord typically includes a major ninth interval from the root. However, there are cases where a minor or augmented ninth is used instead. In these cases, the chord is labeled with a flat or sharp sign before the 9, indicating flat 9 or sharp 9 chords. In these cases, a 7 is also included. However, if the ninth is already present an octave lower in the chord, adding it an octave higher does not create a new chord. For example, a minor 7 does not become a new chord when a sharp 9 is added, as the augmented ninth is simply a repetition of the third an octave higher. In 11th chords, we add the perfect 11th interval to a ninth chord. The perfect 11th interval consists of a perfect octave plus a perfect fourth. In 13th chords, we add the major 13th interval to the 11th chord. The 13th interval is a combination of a perfect octave and a major sixth. A 13th chord includes all the notes of a 7-note scale. For example, a C major 13th includes all the notes of the C major scale. These chords are typically written with the same notation as 7th chords, except the 7 is replaced with 9, 11, or 13, depending on the chord. Slash chords are used to indicate either an inversion or a chord with an independent bass note. The note after the slash represents the lowest note in the chord. When the bass note is part of the chord, the slash chord represents an inversion. When the bass note is not part of the chord, the slash chord represents a chord with an independent bass note. Added tone chords indicate that an additional note other than the third, fifth, or seventh is added to a basic triad. The notation follows the root note and the word add, followed by the added tone's number. For example, C mean add 2 means a C minor chord with an added second. If you found this video lesson interesting and helpful, you can support me by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, subscribing, or even buying me a coffee. Thanks for watching.